NIT continues. Alabama, Illinois. We'll see you at the half.
All right, Carl and Seth, welcome to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Brad Nessler with Sean Farnham. This is round one of the NIT, and Levi Randolph opens up the scoring with a three-pointer. We had a major power outage outside Coleman Coliseum. The reason you didn't see the starting lineups, we'll set everything as we go. It's the Fighting Illini of Illinois from the Big Ten, Alabama from the SEC, and a good start by both teams as Kendrick Nunn knocks down the jump shot. Again, a strange situation adding to the power outage we have. I don't know that we've ever been involved in a situation where we're doing a postseason game at a home site 2 days after the head coach has been fired. If you hadn't heard, Anthony Grant was relieved of his duties on Sunday. John Brandon, who was a longtime assistant to Anthony both at VCU and here at Alabama, is the interim coach tonight. For the most part, Sean, people think that had Alabama known they were going to be in the NIT, Anthony Grant probably wouldn't have been relieved of his duties before tonight, and they would have let him coach. So kind of a strange situation. Plus, Illinois is the home team on the road because State Farm Center in Champaign is being renovated. So can we have anything strange go on more than what we already have?
No, partner. I mean, that pretty much sums up exactly where everybody is at right now in this game. And I think, you know, for these teams right now out on the floor, a lot of talk around Alabama today. They're not playing just for themselves, but they are playing for Coach Grant. He represented this university with a great deal of class and character, and certainly he'll be getting a job in the very near future.
Hook shot by Nana Agwu, one of the defensive players of the year on the defensive team of the Big Ten, and he gives Illinois its first lead. Here's Levi Randolph fouled en route to the hoop. Now we'll give you a look at the starting lineups because they have not changed. Obasahan, Randolph, Cooper in the backcourt for Alabama with Riley Norris and Jimmy Taylor up front. Little change in the lineup for Illinois. Tate is in there along with Nunn, Rice, LaRon Black, not normally a starter either, and Nana Agwu also in the lineup. So a couple of guys that normally would have started, Ahmad Starks at the point and Malcolm Hill at a forward spot, not starting for John Gross tonight to open things up for Illinois.
And I think by bringing Hill off the bench that they'll allow him to get more time at the 3 spot, which will be better for him. I think right now you're just trying to change things up. You're trying to find the guys that are really bought in and want to play. That's a big part of the NIT. And when you look at how Illinois finished their season in the Big Ten tournament against Michigan, I think that was the question coming out. Do these guys still have some fight left in them? The early stages of this game, I've liked what I've seen out of both teams.
They had 2 tough games with Michigan during the regular season, and then they just were out of sorts in the Big Ten and got blown out by the Wolverines. Otherwise, they might be playing the NCAA tournament. At least they felt like they had a chance had they won that game. Inside, block shot by Jimmy Taylor. 57th block shot for Taylor this year. Obasahan en route to the hoop, stripped and fouled. John Brannett, Marshall graduate back in '97. He was a heck of a player. Again, he was with Anthony Grant at VCU and with him here. So 9 years with Anthony. And John was telling Sean and I today at the shoot around, I went straight to Anthony's house and said, they want me to be the interim coach for this game. But in respect to you, I won't if you don't think it's a great idea. And Anthony said, you go and tell the team to go win the game.
And I think that's what they're playing for right now. Again, I think there's a lot of love and a lot of trust between this team and Anthony Grant. The connection between players and coaches is usually tight. And again, if you're going to make a decision and you're going to make a change, that's acceptable. And if Alabama says, hey, you know what, we got to make a change because we feel like we've got to create more energy or create a bigger buzz, or we want more wins, right? Then that's fine. Then you can go ahead and do that. I still would have liked to see Anthony Grant here in the building tonight, but they've got some opportunities now to go out and maybe get a coach that they feel could elevate the profile of the program.
There hasn't been any mention of who that might be. Bill Baddeley, athletic director, was here and talked to us about a half an hour ago, so it'll be his decision. Ball kept alive, and would have been a shot clock violation, I think, as Levi Randolph clears it off.
And important to note, if you're just tuning into the NIT, the shot clock violation might come a little earlier because they've taken 5 seconds off of it for the postseason NIT. Normal season, it's 35. It's down to 30.
And also the arc under the basket's 4 feet instead of 3. Speaking of arc, Jimmy Taylor just went right through it with a slam.
And no need to worry about the shot clock if you can dump the ball down low and finish at the iron.
The Illini with a 3-pointer, no good. Obasahan clears it off. Not a big crowd, but I tell you what, they're vocal. That's another reason, as Levi Randolph knocks it off the window, another reason this crowd had gotten to the point where it was somewhat apathetic about showing up for home games, even if it was a big-name opponent. Here they are playing a team from the Big Ten, and it's loud in here, even though it's only about 20% full.
You know, I love the energy in the building. You're right, partner. They come out, they support their team, and this team has answered the call early.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NIT is brought to you by Buick. Experience 5 expectation-shattering new models from Buick. Proud partner of the NCAA. And Progressive. Comparing rates to help you save. Now that's Progressive.
Out in front on their home floor. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Brad Nessler with Sean Farnham. We talked to Levi Randolph at the shoot-around today and said, you guys ready to play? That's the key in this NIT, usually in the first round. He came ready to play. He's got most of Alabama's points.
Yeah, he's off to a great start. He's got 7 quick ones. And I tell you what, that is the point of emphasis, I think, for both coaches, is answering the call of who wants to play, who wants to be here. We've seen teams year in and year out playing the NIT that have that NCAA hangover,
right?
That wish they were in the other tournament. And because of it, they get bounced out early. Now, this is a great opportunity to extend out your season, get the extra practice time, build momentum, and also finish this thing off in one of the greatest arenas in the world, Madison Square Garden. The zone now for the Illini.
Something Alabama should be pretty used to. They play zone about 35–40% of the time themselves. Cooper knocked down a 3.
That's just poor defensive rotation that time. They allow the ball to get in the high post. They don't communicate upon the back line. They allowed the shooter to spot up in the corner, and nobody even attempted a closeout.
9-0 Alabama run here. And a bad pass and a bad turnover. Crimson Tide coming the other way. Talking with John Gross at the shoot-around as well, and he said, I don't know if my team's going to be ready to play. I'll know in the first 5 minutes. I don't think this is the answer he wanted.
It is not the answer in which he's wanted in his 3rd season at Illinois. I was there for the historic victory of his tenure so far when they knocked off then #1 Indiana on their home floor. They came into that game losing 6 out of 7 and then answered the call and rallied late in that game to knock off the Hoosiers. And now making the 2nd straight appearance in the NIT.
Last year they won the first one at Boston. They were on the road last year too because of renovations to their arena. And then they went to Clemson and lost by 1. So here they are back in the South at Alabama on what is supposed to be a home game. Abasahan going to go to the free throw line. So we take a look at the bracket on this side. Miami has just advanced. Good game with North Carolina Central, but they win it by 4. So the winner of this one will play Miami. And if it's Illinois, they're going to be at Miami because of the arena situation. Alabama likewise would be there. So the Hurricanes are going to have a home game.
Absolutely loaded on this side of the bracket. When you look at UConn, Arizona State, Illinois, Alabama, Miami, and of course Richmond, the #1 seed. This particular portion of the NIT bracket is so top heavy that it's going to be a very difficult path for anyone out of this.
Nunn goes out and Ray Rice comes in. Rice, one of the top players in the Big Ten in a lot of different categories. Didn't start tonight, normally does. And Abasahan got the 2nd free throw. He'll go out. Justin Coleman's going to come in for him. And Michael Kessin's in for the Tide as well.
Kessin's, his big moment came at Arkansas. Got fouled on a field goal attempt that sent that game into overtime.
And a little touch foul on Coleman. Didn't take him long to get in the scorebook. Picks up his first foul. 2015 NCAA Women's Basketball Championship tips off Friday at noon Eastern on ESPN2. You can catch every moment of the tournament on the ESPN family of networks. For more info, visit NCAA.com, your home for all 89 NCAA championships.
I'll be at the Stanford region with Dave Fleming. Looking forward to going out west for that.
Keeps you a little closer to home. You've been in Nashville with me for a week, and now you're in Alabama.
I'm a man of the
South.
You
do have a family.
I do.
Turn around air ball.
We had a great time up in Nashville, obviously, for the SEC tournament partner. How great was that scene up there?
Yep. And Alabama went out in the first round, and that didn't help Anthony Grant's cause either, losing to Florida 69-61. So they were only 2-3 in their last 5 games, and that's never a good thing. Boy, Levi Randolph's come to play, but that was a heck of a dish by Coleman.
Yeah, Coleman, a very talented freshman, I think has great upside, and he'll be as good as he wants to be here at Alabama. But Randolph with a beautiful cut on the great drive.
9 points for Levi Randolph, and he's got a rebound off the Illinois miss.
Randolph's feeling it. You can just tell in his bounce.
Wow, he got the feed inside, and a sweet move by Kessens, and Illinois seen enough. John Gross calls timeout.
This is not what Illinois wanted or had in their mind, but certainly is what Alabama has had, and in particular, Levi Randolph.
To play in the first half. Where was this kind of hoops when we had these guys earlier this year?
They are playing inspired basketball right now. The drive, baseline, the cut and move on the weak side, and Randolph able to finish. And then on the next possession, it's Randolph facilitating the offense. A little shot fake and a beautiful dump down underneath to Kessens as he finishes with the reverse layup. Alabama is playing as sharp as I've seen them. Remember, this is an Alabama team that was up 11 late at Wichita State. Ended up losing that game. They beat UCLA, an NCAA tournament team, a debatable NCAA tournament team, but they beat them on this floor in this building. They had some moments during the course of the season where you looked at them and thought they had a chance to make a run.
Illinois 0 for its last 6 over a 5-minute span, including a couple of turnovers. They need points right now. Rimmed out a 3, got a great look. Malcolm Hill couldn't connect. Coleman's going to take a 3. And that one comes out as well. Rebound, Ahmad Starks. Come right back to Starks. They move it around the perimeter, and Coleman, Obasahan almost had a steal on the play.
You mentioned some of the close losses they've had. How about at Wichita State, the South Carolina game, at Arkansas, Florida, and Georgia, and at least probably 3 of those games they were in position to win. And then it slipped away. So you're talking about, and I look at those 3 games, by the way, and if you say they win those 3 games, is Anthony Grant not here tonight?
Could be. And if that's the case, there's not a lot of points between having a job and not having one.
I mean, it's a small margin. That's the world of college athletics, though, when you talk about coaches.
Yep. You know what you're getting into. Right now, they're getting it inside to Jimmy Taylor on a pass from Kessens. So big guy to big guy. Nice look down low and no help defensively. It's 19-4. Hustle is great by both teams. Alabama got the timeout over on the sideline, so they're going to get the ball on a turnover by the Illini.
Simple, partner. One team came to play and the other one has yet to arrive, and it's indicated by the scoreboard.
By 15.
Partner, as we go inside the play, you'll see the breakdown defensively. Great execution. Though, as the ball gets reversed, here's where you're going to watch is underneath at this portion of your screen. Where's the defense? There's someone on the block, and you're running away. You're going to run to a guy that's in the corner that's more than 2 passes away. That's just a complete defensive breakdown and great execution from Alabama to exploit that hole.
The only defense was on the perimeter. Bad news is the hole was about 12 feet wide in the middle. Illinois hasn't scored in going on 7 minutes.
It was 5-4, and things have just exploded.
6 on the shot clock. Obasahan. Good move inside, just couldn't get it to spin off the glass for him. Whoa, somebody's got a yell screen there. Obasahan just ran right into Egwu. 3-pointers short. Ted Valentine's got a foul called on the inside on Michael Kessens. Timeout, 11-17, first half. His 3rd year at Champaign as the head coach of the Illini. New daddy just a couple of days ago. Added a baby girl to the family, and his wife, that's Kate. Kate Eileen Gross 8 pounds 1 ounce. He says the good news is 20.5 inches long, so she's got the length, the, wingspan.
Wingspan is important.
Coaches are always looking for a wingspan.
Looking at the attributes right away. They can spot talent really quickly. And I think that's one of the things Coach Gross has actually done a great job at over the course of his career, is trying to identify talent. He gets in on kids, and he's come close a lot with getting some guys that would be program-changing players. But close hasn't necessarily closed that gap where he needs it to be right now.
Can you imagine John Calipari going around everywhere around the country trying to find the longest kids? So when you get the players, like Willie Cauley-Stein, the wingspan 7'5", worry about wingspan when they're babies. Third member of our normal Tuesday night team is with the Kentucky team. I'm sure tonight, isn't she?
Shannon Spake has officially, I think she's relocated to Lexington.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess she's following them all the way, however all the way is.
She is locked and loaded on the Kentucky Wildcats in their run to perfection.
So far it's 34-0 all the way, but 6 more to go. Nice feed on the inbounds play, and still they come up short as Rice missed in close.
Let me ask you, because this is the big question coaches talk about, quality of shot. I don't think the shot clock has changed the quality of shot that we see in this game versus what you and I are accustomed to seeing all season long.
I don't think so either, not yet.
And that's going to be a topic of discussion throughout the course of the NIT.
Well, they had 1 clock go down to actually buzz, and the shot was away at the time, hit the rim, but that was just 30 seconds of not very good execution to start with.
And I'm okay eliminating 5 seconds of somebody dribbling the ball at midcourt, looking at their coach, wondering what they're going to play.
And Taylor's had a good game so far, Jimmy. 6'10" sophomore out of Greensboro, Alabama. For fans of the best against the best, Wednesday night, NBA will be your spot. Kia countdown at 7:30. Orlando and Dallas at 8 at 10:30. Top teams in the East and West square off. The Hawks take on Golden State this week on NBA Wednesday, presented by State Farm.
Crazy to think about that. You just said the best teams in the conferences are the Hawks and the Warriors.
Yeah, didn't used to say that.
No, but they've both had outstanding seasons so far.
I think they both had 52 wins going into today, I believe.
I'll tell you what, being the general manager in the NBA, difficult job. Bob Myers, my former teammate, has done a sensational job with the Warriors.
Alabama rebounding well, too. Kick ball, and Illinois has been stuck on 4 points since the 18-12 mark. And that's a long time ago. Remember our, you knew exactly what I was going to say, didn't you? In Nashville, we had a stack of pieces of paper that were our droughts for teams. And we didn't want a stack of those papers tonight. We told John Brandon that his Alabama team does not have a drought going, but I'm afraid John Gross's team has a serious drought going.
Yeah, it was like Oprah. You get a drought. You have a drought.
Everybody gets a drought. Obasahan knocks down a 3.
No drought. Boy, Alabama looks good. I'm impressed with the way this coaching staff here has got this team focused and ready to go tonight. It's tough when you lose a coach. I lost Jim Herrick before the start of my freshman year. I mean, almost right before the start of my freshman year at UCLA. We came out in our first game and we lost to Tulsa in the NIT, the preseason NIT.
Yeah. Fadeaway baseline jumper, and that finally ends that drought. And it was Malcolm Hill.
So that's the kind of ball movement that you need to see out of Illinois. Illinois' quality of shot overall has not been good.
It was a good 8.5-minute stretch, though, and now Alabama turns it over, and it's going to be 4 quick ones for Malcolm Hill.
Well, Malcolm Hill, again, did not get the start. Averages 14 points per game, was Big Ten honorable mention. He's plus 10 points per game this year versus where he was last year.
They wanted to play him more at the 3 spot instead of the 4 tonight, so that's one of the reasons he didn't start, but he was one of the most improved players from a year ago in the conference, without a doubt. 10 points better, double in rebounds, so he's come a long way in his sophomore season.
And of course, that big game, 28 points versus Maryland. So he's a player that can impact the game for Coach Gross, and right now they need him impacting the game every possession, because he's had the best 2 shot attempts I've seen in over 8 minutes out of the Illini.
So as we approach 9 minutes, let's see if they can make it 3 scores on the last 3 possessions by Malcolm Hill. That time the turnaround jumper is a little bit short. And on the rebound, we got a foul. I think it's going to be either Egu or Colbert. Yeah, it's on Colbert. So the next foul, Alabama's going to be shooting the rest of the way as well.
Well, and also Illinois is already there. So if you're Illinois, just attack the middle of the paint. Try to get in the body. Don't fade away into jump shots. Get yourself to the free throw line. Stop the clock. Whittle this lead down and get in the locker room and regroup.
Alabama's got its starting lineup in there right now. Norris on the baseline. Freshman with his first field goal.
Yeah, you look at his high school numbers. It'll blow you away. They're mind-boggling. So I mean, he's gonna have some good numbers here as his career and he becomes more comfortable at the college level.
He finished as the number 8 all-time scorer in Alabama high school history with over 3,000 points. And also number 2 in all-time rebounds. So pretty versatile guy, but still getting his feet wet in the SEC. There's a nice pass from him.
Well, you got to have a little bit better on-ball defense by Hill, but good help side defensive rotation overall. But Hill allowed Cooper to cut right in front of his face. Go out of zone, out of bounds, then immediately jump into their man-to-man.
Going to see if they would think about whether the shot clock was effective. I thought the first time the ball get knocked out of bounds at about 15 seconds if they'd know what's going on. They did. Rodney Cooper really knew what he was doing. 5 for Cooper. Jalen Tate all the way around the baseline, threw it away to Norris. Levi Randolph going to try to win a race to the rack.
Does! Whoa! Come on, partner! Let's go! You think the senior wants to play? You think he wants his career to be over here tonight? Or do you think he's answering the bell right now thinking, you know what, it's not good enough just to get off to a good start. He wants to be on SportsCenter as well tonight. I want to be on SportsCenter. You want to be on SportsCenter. Ric Flair wants to be on SportsCenter. Woo!
I think Levi's got the best chance. First he had to win the race. He won that and then some.
What a finish. I thought he was going to shield and go up for the layup, but instead he said, nope, I'm going to the rim.
Second team All-SEC performer, the Scholar Athlete of the Year in the SEC, and that was pretty scholarly. 19-point lead again. And Levi Randolph came from the opening tip with a three-pointer to open. A couple of free throws. And then 3 more field goals. A teardrop. A baseline move. And I think we just gave you the most emphatic one. Coming up into your living room.
11 points already for Randolph. And a 19-point lead for Alabama.
And we realize all of you aren't in your living room because it's St. Patrick's Day, so whatever place you're hanging out, that's where you were coming, right up to the bar.
You and I both going with green today.
The green on. Three-pointer tips, trying to keep it alive, and Norris comes out of the pile with it. Alabama trying to go up more than 20 on this trip. Hook pass, Norris. Offensive foul. And it was a good move, but it was a good defensive job to hold the position. 6:50, first half, tied by 19. In the first half, we talked about a couple of experimental rules in the NIT this year. One is a 30-second shot clock instead of 35, as we mentioned. And there you see the 4-foot restricted arc instead of 3. Kind of came into play, Sean, on that last offensive foul.
Yeah, first time we've had it in play all night long in the first charge, and you're going to see now clearly outside what was the arc all season long. Now you look at where his feet are outside the white arc, which is exactly where you need to be, and that left heel might have been over the line, but not quite, and they get the call, and it goes in the opposite direction. So a good stop for the Illini. The first time we've seen that. And again, the idea is spacing out the key a little bit more, making it a little bit more difficult for defensive players to get that charge call.
So far, again, the shot clock has not been a big factor. We had one play that went down to the actual shot clock buzzer going off, but the pass, or the shot rather, was already en route and hit the rim.
I like the pacing of this game, though.
I do too.
The pacing of the game.
I don't know if that's just Alabama or if that's the pace from a 30-second clock. I think it's just Alabama playing pretty well.
Yeah, Alabama has been able to execute and find high percentage shots. I think part of it's on Alabama cutting, moving with a sense of purpose. The other part of that is maybe Illinois not being ready at the start of this game.
Hill, jump shot on the outside, goes in.
Well, he's been the positive at the offensive end of the floor. He's got 6 now. You got 50% of your points from one player for Illinois, and he didn't start.
Randolph's been constant motion tonight. Works in the paint, spins for having his shot blocked. He got it back just with muscle and effort.
Coach Gross beside himself along the sideline because he's got a bunch of guys watching the ball right now. You can't watch the ball defensively. You make a good defensive play, come back and get the block. You got to be able to corral that ball in and then look to attack.
Egwu, had he been able to handle that, would have had a jam on the inside. As it is, he works for a hook shot that won't go. First round of the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship continues tomorrow on True TV, starting at 6:30 Eastern Time. For more information on tournament games and times and listings, go to ncaa.com. That foul was on Rodney Cooper. That'll be Rodney's first. Whistle on the three-pointer, and it's going to be a foul on Illinois.
Now we're going to shoot some free throws because it's going to be 1-on-1 coming at the other end. They've got to determine who the shooter was.
It looks like it's going to be Norris.
That was the tie-up underneath that drew the attention.
Riley Norris, for all his 3,087 points in high school, is not the greatest free throw shooter, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, just 57% on the season.
Ted Valentine's making sure that they have the right guy.
You're going to see the foul actually here at the lower right-hand portion of the screen, pushing Norris out of bounds.
Wasn't much of a foul either.
Yeah, I thought that was just a good hard box out, personally.
Sorry, Riley. You are a good free throw shooter. We're going to start apologizing every time we mess up somebody's free throw shooting by saying they're 88% and then they miss 2, or saying they're 48% and they hit 5 in a row. Just like those two. 21-point lead.
This is as impressive as Alabama has looked all season long.
Look at Obasahan hustling. And then he's fouled by Jalen Tate. And that's 3 on Tate.
A lot of contact there by Obasahan prior to being fouled and getting the trip to the free throw line. And Coach Gross wants that call going in the opposite direction and getting free throws for Illinois.
Tate done for the half for sure with 3 personals. Obasahan hits the free throw. Breton Obasahan has 5 points in the game. Cooper has 5. Norris has 4. Taylor has 5. Good balance, and then Levi Randolph's got the rest.
Obasahan much better since the injury to Ricky Tarrant, who happened to have that plantar fasciitis rupture when we were here against Florida.
That's right.
But Obasahan a year ago was one of the best steal artists in the SEC. And then for the first 8 games of conference play, he didn't have any. And then the last 9, he had 13. He's got 2 already tonight.
Hill has been most of the offense for the Illini in the first half. Ball stripped away from Rice. And out of bounds to Alabama. Last touch by Rice. Neither team had a lot of preparation time, obviously. You find out Sunday night who you're playing, where you're going. Obasahan, great drive to the rack.
That's just want to. Do you want to get a stop or do you not? And right now the answer for the Illini is they don't want to. Meanwhile, Alabama does.
Kessens is going to pick up the foul.
You have no passes in the offense, and you allow somebody to do a straight line drive, beat you off the dribble up top, and then have zero help side rotation to cut off the lane.
So Alabama has tripled Illinois here with 4:47 to go.
And Bama's plus 14 in the paint. They have 18 of their 36 points have come in the paint. Now remember, they had a ton of paint touches in the first half against Florida. Things were going well for them offensively, and then they got away from it.
And that foul's going to be on Jimmy Taylor. Jimmy's first, so at least Alabama has spread their fouls around a little bit, with the exception of Kessens, who you saw sit down a moment ago, as John Brandon doesn't want him to pick up a third foul before halftime. Rice looking for a screen, going to try to power inside and walk with it.
That's an easy call. It's a good call.
Again, Illinois wearing the silver uniforms with the orange trim, and Alabama normally in their crimson. It's because Alabama is officially the road team here, even though they're playing on their home floor, as the State Farm Center in Champaign is being renovated for the second year in a row, and it's going to take all the way to November. In fact, they're going to play 5 games in November next year in Springfield, Illinois, at the Prairie Capital Convention Center because of the renovations at the State Farm Center. So that's going to happen one more year, but not the major part. So next year they might have to do the same thing as far as going on the road, but that would be the last time. It's a 3-stage renovation of their home basketball court. So for the second year in a row, they have to play in the NIT on the road. Last year it was at Boston round 1, at Clemson in the second round. Here they are the home team, yet they're on Alabama's floor in Tuscaloosa.
Now mentally, though, if you look at Illinois over the course of the season, they've been a better home team than they have been a road team.
Yeah, this is the best Alabama's ever played on the road.
Yeah, this is the best we've seen Alabama on the road all year, partner. It just happens to be in Tuscaloosa on their home floor. What a first half by the Crimson Tide.
They don't get much better than this for Alabama. There's a three-pointer from the baseline by Kendrick Nunn.
You look at Illinois, too. I mean, Ravonte Rice is a guy they need to get going desperately offensively. He averages close to 17 points per game. He's got 0 here in the first half.
Lob underneath. Tough catch for Jimmy Taylor. And Illinois is going to come up with it. Alabama hasn't had a lot of turnovers. Hill working against Randolph. Wow. Jimmy Taylor getting in the act. Great offense. Pretty good defense, too, right now. 2:52 till halftime. All tied.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NIT is brought to you by Gatorade. Gatorade knows it all begins within. Win from within.
It's Seth Greenberg watching A&M in Montana. And watch Alex Robinson. He's not ready to shoot, so he passes it. Now he's ready to shoot, and he drains it. 35-27, A&M is on top. NCAA, Hampton a winner. BYU leading Ole Miss. More coming up at the break.
All right, Carl, here, everything's going in for Alabama. They're shooting 65% from the field right now. And Riley Norris goes down hard on the baseline. Along the hill.
65% is just a mind-boggling number. You think about it. You and I were talking during the break. This was an Alabama team that had 50 points in 40 minutes of play versus Florida in this building on this floor.
And they might have that many at halftime. Nice shot.
Well, I like Hill's game.
I do too.
First time you and I got to see him in person all season long. Obviously, I've watched him on television, but his ability to get to the middle of paint, he's got a very nice soft release on his shot.
He's already a good one, but he's going to get better. Coleman for three. Second time the little guy from Birmingham, the freshman, has knocked down a triple.
Inconsistent over the course of the year, but you see those flashes that make you believe that he's going to be a good one as well.
Kendrick Nunn, so he's got 2 threes in the half.
And that'll avoid Illinois' lowest point total. They're not tied with it for a half. Against Michigan, they had 20.
And a rebound. Starks gets it to Hill. Now Nunn for 3. That was short. Levi Randolph brings it up this time. We're down to 1:20 and a half. Now we can say the shot clock's at 10.
They worked on this shoot around today. These late shot clock execution, knowing where you got to go.
Coleman lost the handle. He turns it over. And now on the run out and a slam by Kendrick Nunn.
That's a great explosiveness to the rim and a good job turning a stop and a turnover into 2 points for Illinois.
John Brannon calls timeouts.
The late shot clock, Coleman spins, gets stripped, and then the throw ahead right away. And Nunn able to go up and elevate as Cooper chose not to challenge up in the air.
So Kendrick Nunn's got 10. Malcolm Hill with 8. Those are the 2 guys leading the way for Illinois.
Well, and again, if you're Illinois, you just want to get to the locker room at this point in time. And you got to try to regroup and figure things out, because clearly when you have 0 points from Starks, 0 points from Rice, those are 2 guys that combined together average almost 24 points per game, and they've got donuts in the first half.
They'd love to get like one more stop and one more score and be under 20 to go in the locker room. They'd be a little bit happier with that, because they were getting slapped around until a couple of minutes ago.
Now on a 10-3 run, they've cut the deficit from 29 to 22. And you see the numbers, those 2 have showed up. Nunn and Hill have answered the call. The rest of the team has not.
And they're going to try a little bit of backcourt pressure here. Randolph gets it into Abazahan, right back to him, and now to Coleman. So Alabama has no problem with the press. Norris gets it into Taylor, and Taylor lost the handle again. So another turnover and a quick timeout by the Illini. So they got the stop, had to use a turnover to do it. Nonetheless, they get the ball back with 48.3.
That's much more like the defense that we're accustomed to seeing out of Illinois. Aggressive, slapping down the ball, creating turnovers, creating opportunities for themselves.
John Gross has got his team huddled around him, hoping that they can score again at least one more time before halftime. Again, the winner of this one in this side of the bracket, with Richmond being the #1 seed, Illinois #3, and would like to go on to play Miami. Miami beat North Carolina Central by 4 right before we tipped off.
Well, and then you look at UConn, Arizona State. Going to be another great matchup. Their Herb Sendik's team going east to take on Ryan Boatwright and UConn, who are playing in the American Conference Championship game and had an opportunity maybe to steal a bid to the NCAA tournament.
Of course, this is the oldest postseason tournament. The NIT started in 1938, so this is edition number 78. And second straight year that Illinois is involved. So 48.3, 29 remaining on the shot clock. The 30-second shot clock. We'll keep reminding you, just in case you look up there sometimes and say, how come that thing isn't saying 35? There's an air ball from Starks. That's not the possession they were looking for after that.
Well, you could tell by the look on every coach's face, including John Gross, who just shakes his head. You don't call a timeout and say, just dribble the ball up the floor, don't pass it, and go ahead and jack up a three-point shot. That's what we're looking for here. You can do that without calling the timeout.
Right. And they're trying to look like they were trying to foul Jimmy Taylor. I guess they were just using it as a handle on the way by. Ray Rice is guarding Levi Randolph, and I think he's a little bit frustrated right now by his offense. The fact that he didn't start and the fact that right now Alabama's up 22 points. Obasahan misses. Illini might have a quick shot here before halftime. Going to have to hustle, and it's blocked by Obasahan. He goes the other way. Still got a chance. Up, in. It's good.
Yep, that pretty much sums up the first half for the Illini. Back-to-back possessions to end the first 20 minutes where you had an opportunity to extend out what was a nice-looking 10-3 run. You cut the lead down, and instead you turn the ball over. And Obasahan, with the great defense, blocks the shot and then clearly gets it off the glass. It'll count, and it'll be good. And Alabama, wow, what a first half for the Crimson Tide.
Talk about using every second and even less than a second of the first half for the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Obasahan, 9 points in the first half. Levi Randolph led the way. Good balanced scoring by the Tide, a season high for Alabama at halftime. 46 points and a 24-point halftime lead. As we head to the college basketball halftime report, Carl Ravitch, Seth Greenberg are standing by. Fellas.
Hi, Brad and Sean. Thank you very much. If you like shooting 63% for a half, you kind of like what Alabama just did. Unless, of course, you're the former coach wondering where was that been. All right, how about Miami? They're playing. They'll get the winner of that game because Miami was a victor tonight.
Sheldon McClendon, he's driven baseline every single highlight and finished.
Yeah, and he's finished strong every time. 21-15, Jeremiah Ingram, SC top 10 nominee. They're within 6.
This is a Central team, a very good basketball team. They were undefeated in league play. Unfortunately for them, they did not win their conference tournament.
All right, so Miami and Alabama look like they're ready for a showdown as long as Alabama continues to play so well. There's Mike Lonergan. You're looking at GW taking on Pitt. They're up by 5 GW. Paul Jorgensen. How about an 8-point lead? They're at Pittsburgh.
GW did a great job of taking care of the basketball. Only 4 turnovers. Keaton Savage, a point guard from Episcopal High School in Washington, D.C. Terrific game.
Jamel Artis hits the 3. The lead is only 2. You thought Pitt was going to pull ahead. They never got close. 60-54. GW is a winner. Jamie Dixon right now wondering what he's got moving forward because what he had tonight wasn't much of anything.
Yeah, but first you got to give GW credit. They took care of the basketball. They got good shots and had a solid defensive game plan. For Jamie Dixon, this is a culture check. And what I mean by that is right now they lost their culture this year. They weren't as competitive. They weren't as tough. Now, there are some reasons. They had some suspensions. They had some injuries.
Right.
But right now he's going to meet with each and every one of his players tomorrow and decide, do you have 1 foot in or 2 feet in? And what are you committed to doing to get this thing turned back
What if
around?
you find somebody who has 1 foot in? What's the conversation then?
Obviously, you know what this program stands for. If you're not committed to doing things we want them done, how we want them done, then you know what? You got to go. And you're not taking away the scholarship. You're saying, you know what? It might be in your best interest to find a place where you fit in a little bit better.
Right.
Because you're not going to have an opportunity to play here.
All right. Dixon is not leaving. Alabama did lose its coach, and Alabama's playing like the world is their oyster. They're playing free. They're playing easy.
This group on the defensive end is playing for Anthony Grant. There's no doubt about it because they were really good defensively in the first half. Offensively, whether it's the 30-second clock or Coach Brandon said, you know what, we're going to play freed up. They are freed up. Their most points they've scored in the first half of any game this season. They're freed up offensively. They're shooting it quick. They're attacking in transition. But defensively, they're playing for Anthony Grant.
They're playing with a 15-second clock.
Yeah, they're playing fast and they're playing freed up.
All right, speaking of playing fast, A&M off to a good start. They're at the break, 38-33 over Montana. That game on ESPNU, by the way. And Central Michigan, a loser. Louisiana Tech, 89-79. When we come back, the big boys will find out which team is going to take on the Cats as they begin the NCAA tournament.
The College Basketball Halftime Report.
NCAA score set. Very impressed by both BYU and Ole Miss.
The BYU attacks you at warp speed. Ole Miss doing a nice job playing a little odd front zone, trying to slow them down in transition.
Hampton beats Manhattan. They get Kentucky. And on this St. Patrick's Day, their coach, Edward Joyner Jr., dialed long distance. I mean, really long distance for some advice on beating the Cats.
Hold on. I told y'all I had Jesus on speed dial, so Hey, Jesus. First of all, you can't play, so I ain't worried about you being hot. Okay, fine. They want to know how much of a mountain and what our odds are. Hello? Hello? I guess he'll get back to me, so I'll get back to you. But it's a heck of a mountain. You know what I'm saying? And we know that. So, you know, and we're going to go try to play. We're going to go compete and let the chips fall where they may. They're a great team, and we know that. But, hey, it is where it is. We're happy to be here, and we're going to go fight tooth and nail. You can believe that.
Better have the opportunity to be fed to the Cats than
It's
not.
good to have Jesus on speed dial, I guess.
He has him. But apparently Jesus wanted no part of the conversation. He's
He
like,
knows
are you crazy?
Kentucky's good.
Yeah, he not only knows they're good, he knows they're great. But it is going to be Hampton who's the first team that faces Kentucky. What, if anything, does Hampton bring to the table?
They're going to have to – it's opposite of how they play because Hampton plays fast. They attack you with their guards. They look to drive it and get to the rim. You can't play against Kentucky that way. They've got to try to actually shorten the game, spread the court, all right, and limit possessions. They have no chance to rebound the ball on the defensive end. It's going to be a long night, but this is a great night for Hampton. Winning a game in the NCAA tournament, first round, is a great accomplishment for them.
All right, bracket time, and that's what this week's all about. So there you see it, Kentucky, Hampton. Seth, earlier tonight identified West Virginia, Notre Dame as teams that could potentially beat Kentucky. We'll get some more NIT scores as we continue, and maybe we'll find out who Seth has on speed dial as we continue here at the break. The NIT Lounge. UTEP, Maury State, 16-15 game. Cedric Lang, low block. Woo! Hard throwing down. Miners take a 1-point lead. Then under a minute to go in the half, TJ Sapp, Jarvis Williams, throw down.
Some high percentage shots.
Very good. 37-32. They've gone to the break. 37-33 now. Just underway on ESPN2. And Tulsa, William and Mary, 3-point win for Tulsa. Notable NIT games tomorrow. ASU will be at Storrs to take on Connecticut. ODU, Richmond, Colorado State, all 1 seeds will be in action. NIT games tomorrow. So Seth went long distance, and the guy on the other end said, we'll see you early in the morning. You were begging for some time off, and you're going to be on Mike and
Mike tomorrow morning. Adnan and Michael Golick. I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to help them with their brackets. Now, I think Golick is not coachable. I think Greeny, coachable. Adnan, though, brilliant.
Brilliant. Should we put...
you know what Adnan's going to do? He's just going to pick teams that have Canadians on them.
Yeah, or some type of movie connection. Should we put these together so you can recline? Because you're going to be up in 2 hours.
Sorry, it's all good. It's all good. You know what America needs? Probably a little more Seth Greenberg.
More Seth Greenberg. More Seth Greenberg. More cowbell. Second half coming up.
Welcome back to first round action of the NIT. Number 6 seed Alabama playing more like a number 1 seed. Illinois the 3 seed, even though it's considered a home game, they're playing on Alabama's home floor. Just about set for the second half. Brad Nessler, Sean Farnham. You know, everybody that Alabama played scored. They shot 63%, the highest scoring first half. They can't play much better than this,
well,
can they?
You can some may try to compartmentalize the issues for Illinois in the first half. For me, I just put it all in one bucket and said nothing went right. Everything went right for Alabama in the first half. They were aggressive. They got into the paint. In fact, they're plus 12 in the paint against the Illini. 20 of their 46 points came inside that area of the floor. They shot a season-best 63% in the first half, and you can see with the way that they're moving, cutting without the basketball, playing together, that they brought a great deal of energy and focus to this contest.
You know, you said to me, it's probably one of the earliest you've seen a team come out of the locker room at halftime. There was, what, 8:43 still on the clock when Illinois came out of their locker room to start shooting again?
That was one of those that, as a head coach, you look at your team and you go, yep. You got to figure it out yourselves.
Get out of here.
I can't do it for you.
Well, they come out with a rebound to open things up on the missed shot by Cooper. This guy's got to get going offensively, and that's a good start. That's Ray Rice's first field goal. He's a guy that scored almost 1,000 points in his 2 years at Illinois after 2 years at Drake, so close to 2,000 career points, and a guy that is about a 17-point-a-game scorer, and his first bucket comes on the opening possession of the second half, rather.
Well, Alabama at times can go through their own scoring droughts. You know, I remember in the first half, it was Illinois that was stuck on 4 points seemingly forever, and it was a 20-0 run for Alabama. We have seen the flip side of this Alabama team, where they at times can struggle to score. So if you're Illinois, you can whittle this thing away. It starts with getting stops.
That foul was on Ahmad Starks, who inadvertently tripped Retna Basahan. Well, there's no help in there, and a great pass by Cooper. And Taylor flushes it.
How do you allow that to happen? And it's not the first time we've seen it in this game. It's twice now that you can make a simple pass over the top and just get a dunk with nobody around. You'd like to give all the credit to Alabama on that, but you can't.
Three-pointer won't go for Rice, trying to get to his own miss, and did knock it out of bounds off Levi Randolph.
Communication is the biggest key at the defensive end of the floor. Communication is what builds trust, allows you to rotate, even switch out at times when you have to. Illinois has not talked on the defensive end of the floor tonight.
Ahmad Starks is a 34% three-point shooter tonight. That's the first one that's touched the rim. Let's put it that way. Norris tried a hook pass into some dangerous territory. Taylor made a tough catch and then had it blocked underneath. Alabama gets it back, though. They hustled to the ball, got another possession, and drew a foul.
You look at this game and how it's gone, and you see some of the fight. Egwu underneath doing a nice job, being aggressive, trying to block shots, trying to secure possessions for the team. But he's had 2 block shots, and both of them ended up back in the hands of the Crimson Tide, after bouncing and being deflected off about 2 Illini players.
And for Egwu, those numbers you just mentioned puts him over the 200 mark in career blocks, and that is a career mark for any Illinois player. So he's been a good defensive player in his 3 years as a starter. Rodney Cooper knocks down both free throws, opening 2 points of the half for Alabama.
Well, Alabama certainly doesn't look like they've lost any bounce in their step. Coming out of the locker room very focused.
Switch off. Randolph got back on him. 10 on the shot clock. They get it into Egwu. He drops it off. Missed shot off the window by LaRon Black.
And Randolph took an elbow to the jaw, and you saw that. He kind of reacted to the defensive end of the floor, and then I wonder if they'll go back and look at it.
Now Basahan draws a foul on the inside.
I don't think they're going to go back and look at it. Just to see Randolph still reacting to it.
And after picking up a 3rd foul, LaRon Black.
And watch this. As the elbow comes up, makes contact with Randolph, and he was trying to react to it. We'll see if the officials, I think now finally they've been made aware of it, and they're going to go ahead and look at it.
And Levi just went over to the trainer and said, "Are my teeth all in the right spot?" Meanwhile, LaRon Black, as I was saying, picked up his 3rd foul, so Illinois has got enough trouble on their plate. But 2 guys that started, LaRon Black and Jaylon Tate, both have 3 fouls now.
And you watch the ball is down and it rips back up through. That's when the contact was made. Doesn't look like a lot, but they'll take a look at it.
I think it was inadvertent myself, but I'm not checking my front teeth like Levi is.
You got a loose tooth? Bite into a green apple, it'll come right out.
Great. That's just what you need to be on TV. That'd be
just
good.
Some advice for you.
Okay, I'll remember that.
You know, you've elbowed me at least once this season.
I haven't elbowed you in the teeth, though.
No, it's just in the shoulder. I still have a bruise from it, and my ego's been bruised by it as well.
So the 3 officials, Ted Valentine, Brett Smith, Kevin Mathis, still looking at the scores table at the monitor. And Levi's still checking to make sure everything's in the right spot. So I'm sure the Illini hope to come out in the second half here and start to get something going offensively and hope that Alabama cooled off. The problem is they haven't.
No, and I think when you think about Illinois, the big aspect of the second half has to be the commitment made to the defensive end of the floor. You have to be able to want to get stops. And right now, quite frankly, they haven't answered that. And so then you can score all you want, but you're not getting back in this game and breaking down the deficit if you don't start defending at this end of the floor.
Plus, they had that big opening in the middle again where it was an easy one for Taylor underneath, and it was just all the defenders were basically around the lane. So they got to do better than that.
That space was so wide underneath the basket down there, you could put Kenny Chesney's whole new set for his new concert tour that he's got coming up starting at Bridgestone next week, partnering in there.
That would fit. So I think the officials have got it figured out, and it's just a matter of letting the two coaches know.
55-28, Illini, water break.
We apologize again. We've had some technical issues here in Tuscaloosa tonight. You missed another three-pointer by Levi Randolph, a drive by Raymond Rice, and then Nana Agwu with a stuff just now, and a chance for a three-point play at the whistle with 15:48 to go. Foul was on Cooper. Levi Randolph so far in the game with 16 points, and Sean, from the opening shot of the ball game, he's been on.
Levi Randolph, what a young man he is. I mean, really, over the course of his career, we've seen a lot of great basketball moves. It's also good to note that he became the first team academic All-American in program history. So he's a guy that gets it done in the classroom, and he's gotten it done here tonight on the hardwood. 16 points, that one the most aggressive of the finishes. He has played very well, and you look over the last 3 games, he doesn't want his season to end. That's essentially what you're looking at right now for Alabama. For Alabama, when you come in the NIT, you're taking on Illinois. It's who doesn't want their season to end? Right. Alabama has been that team from the start, partner.
And again, if you just joined us, Anthony Grant was fired 2 days ago, basically, and John Brannon's the interim coach tonight. And I don't know if they're doing this for Anthony or John, but they're playing lights out.
They are playing their best basketball we've seen all season long out of them. As far as their efficiency level goes, they shot a season best 63% in the first half. They scored more points in the first 20 minutes than they did. And you look at Anthony Grant, his career at Alabama, and those are the numbers that you're looking at. I think the big one for me is you look at top 25 wins. And they had a couple opportunities this year, in particular an 11-point lead late in that game against Wichita State, and they let that one slip away.
In Anthony's 6 years here as a head coach, he was 117-85. And before that, he was at VCU, successful there before he came to Tuscaloosa. Well, if you like the best against the best, the 10:30 game tomorrow night's your spot. Key NBA countdown tips off 7:30. It's Orlando and Dallas at 8, and the top 2 teams, East and West. Atlanta and Golden State face off this week on NBA Wednesday, presented by State Farm. And if there weren't believers of the Atlanta Hawks earlier in the season, everybody's buying in now.
That's some great basketball action in the NBA right now. A lot of teams trying to fight while they're way into playoff position. Those two, though, they're fine. They're exactly where they want to be. They're the best of the best.
Yeah, they're just worrying about magic numbers and all that stuff right now.
And they're also trying to figure out who they're going to play. I mean, you look at the Western Conference. The seeding of the Western Conference is going to be awfully difficult. There's so many good teams. The imbalance between the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference.
Partner, this is the first free throw of the game for the Fighting Illini. And it's a three-point play capper by Nana Agwu. 6'11", 250-pound senior with 7 points in the game. Now we get a little bit of a breather because he's got 3 fouls. And right now, with the exception of Michael Kesson's in there instead of Jimmy Taylor, the other 4 guys on the floor started for Alabama. Randolph, Abasaha, Norris, and Cooper.
Illinois has changed their defense multiple times. None of them have been able to riddle Alabama just yet.
And a foul on Maverick Morgan. Now that's a cool name, Maverick. And it was, I guess, after Top Gun.
Code name?
Maverick? Yes, exactly. In my day, if it was Maverick, it would have been the Western with James Garner from 100 years ago. Yeah. There's a difference.
I was Iceman growing up. For Halloween, I was Iceman.
You still are, I think. Something's not right with you. I know that. Obasahan off the window. Nice shot.
Didn't take you long to figure that one out.
Not really. First Tuesday of January, I figured that out.
You're like, oh, boy. And by the way, congratulations to Jimmy Dykes, your broadcast partner for so long.
Yep.
At Arkansas's women's basketball team in the NCAA tournament, his first season.
Yep. They're a 10th seed, and they play at noon on Friday on ESPN2. But see, that's what happens after 10 years. You get sick of me and you go into coaching. Big speak of the women's basketball championship starts Friday, ESPN2. Every team's on a mission to take home the title. Championship presented by Capital One starts noon, ESPN2 Friday.
And if I've got 10 years with you, partner, I'd like that quite a bit.
Then I might get sick of you and just ride off into the sunset.
Well, yeah, you definitely would. By then, you'd be gone.
There's the Arkansas game against Northwestern that we're talking about with Jimmy.
The SEC on women's side is as strong as a conference as you'll find in women's basketball. There's no doubt about that. On Staley's team, sensational season. Of course, the big question there is who can maybe take down UConn,
or can anybody?
And the same thing on the men's side as you enter both tournaments. You're thinking, okay, can anybody beat UConn or can anybody beat Kentucky? Right now, the question is, can Illinois stop anybody? And the answer to that question so far tonight is no.
Nope. Everybody's been very balanced for Alabama.
Good drive that time by Rodney Cooper, and another bright spot for the team this year. He's one of 3 players that averaged in double figures.
And one of 3 guys that's in doubles tonight with Obasahan and Randolph. And a 3-point play for Rodney.
And you think about down the stretch, too, for Alabama. Some of the woes they had scoring the basketball, even some of the times they've struggled the defensive end of the floor. They were without 2 of their top 4 scorers on the season, both banged up and injured. They were in sweats.
30-point lead. The biggest, obviously, of the night.
Well, this is really a disappointing performance for Illinois. Coming off of how they played at the Big Ten tournament against Michigan, to then follow it up with almost an identical performance as far as struggling, being out of rhythm, and lacking effort, and just making mental mistakes like that.
And in this case, it's Jaylon Tate's 4th foul. And free throws upcoming. There's a frustrated coach right now. Came in 19 and 13, 500 in the Big Ten. And as Sean said, they got trounced by Michigan in the Big Ten tournament. And right now, it's even worse. Justin Coleman to the free throw line. Freshman, 4-time All-State performer in high school in Birmingham.
His biggest game came against Arkansas, at Arkansas, where he had 22 points in the second half and then in the overtime period. And he's a guy that, again, we've touched on, has shown flashes of what he can be. If he really wants to become an all-conference caliber player, if he really wants to become the leader of this basketball team, he's going to have to spend a lot of time in the gym this offseason working on the consistency of his game, simplifying things, watching film.
Nice look underneath. And it's Maverick Morgan with his first basket.
And really one of the few times we've seen poor communication on the defensive end by Alabama. 2 guys went with the ball, left the cutter wide open.
And it's going to be a foul on Kendrick Nunn. Coming around a screen. So Cooper's going back to the free throw line where he's 3 for 3. 12 points for Rodney, the junior out of Hurtsboro, Alabama. Two good free throw shooting teams. In fact, even though they're not getting there much, the Illini are the best free throw shooting team in the country. And Alabama a little over 70 or 72%. Cooper missed that one. There was an open look there for Nunn for a moment, but Randolph got back on him defensively. Now he's going to work for a tough shot, and Norris got a piece of that one. Kessens in low, threw it away out of a double team. And a foul the other way is going to be on Levi Randolph. So we talked briefly with Bill Battle. We also talked to John Brannon, the interim coach, and I said, are you going after this job? And he said, I haven't left my office since I knew I was going to coach tonight, so I haven't even been home. What do you think? Here's some of your ideas.
I've left my office, and here's 5 candidates that I think would be good fits here at Alabama. In particular, I want you to focus on Bobby Hurley, leading Buffalo into the NCAA tournament. Obviously, the pedigree the coach has. And then Ben Howland, a name that has been sitting out of college basketball now, but is ready to get back into it. And I'm telling you, he's a guy that has proven to win wherever he's gone. Northern Arizona, Pittsburgh, and then UCLA. People forget when he got let go from UCLA, he had won the Pac-12 championship. He took the Bruins to 3 straight Final Fours. And that's a man that has a great resume that I think has proven that he can win no matter where he's at.
We'll go back to that when we get an opportunity on another stoppage of play, just for the folks to take another look.
There's a lot of quality coaches that would look at this job and say how desirable it is.
Randolph kept it alive on the miss by Coleman. There have been times when both the football and basketball programs have been good here together. Florida has proven that you can do that. Sometimes it's tough when you got a guy that wins just about every game and is making $7 million a year like Nick Saban to say, well, can I come in there and make basketball relevant? I think you can here. 2 on the shot clock. Randolph. Got it! Turnaround jumper. He's done it all tonight.
Yeah, the 30-second shot clock has not disrupted any rhythm or flow for Alabama. What a performance we've seen by the Crimson Tide. And the fans that are in attendance are on their feet for their senior, Levi Randolph. The play looks a little bit out of sorts, as Diamond Rio says. It might be a beautiful mess, and it is when you can turn around and knock down jumpers like that.
Gentleman in the middle, Bill Battles, the athletic director here at Alabama. He's got some work to do in naming a successor to Anthony Grant. Again, he was the guy that asked John Brannon to take over on an interim basis. John, after conferring with his old friend Anthony Grant, said, sure, at least for tonight. Well, it looks like he's going to be coaching next week, Saturday at 11 o'clock. We've been told the winner of this game will play Miami at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. Let's get back to the coaches that you were talking about.
I think when you look at these coaches, too, all of them have the ability to come in and win and elevate the profile of the program. Again, you look at what they've been able to accomplish at all of their stops that they've been at, the NCAA trips, the success at Murray State this year, 25 consecutive wins. You know, but I think that I would focus on Hurley and Howland as the 2 that I would really earmark right now if I was Alabama. And if you want to get this done, get it done quick. You know, if you think Ben Howland's your guy, get it done quick, make a splash before the carousel or the coaching carousel really gets turning around. Because, you know, part of this, too, and whether anybody wants to admit it or not, is because Bruce Pearl has created a buzz down at Auburn. And there's now a spark.
And they made a run in the tournament.
They've got a couple of top 20 type players, or top 100 kids signed up and ready to come into campus next year.
Entry pass was a little too late, and there is a shot clock violation.
First we've seen all night.
Yeah.
You know, but you answer the call, and it should be noted, too, by the way, even with that buzz and that fire. Bruce Pearl's team won 4 games in the regular season.
And then 3 in the tournament.
They lost both times they played to Alabama.
Yeah. We approach 11 minutes.
And meanwhile, if we were doing a coaching candidate list for George Mason, I'd have Anthony Grant's name up on that list. I think he'd be an outstanding hire, an outstanding fit at George Mason.
Dakota Slaughter with a late foul, and that might be 3 free throws. I'm not quite sure where his foot was. We talked about the women's basketball championship tipping off Friday at noon on ESPN2. You can catch every moment of the tournament on the ESPN family of networks. For more info, visit NCAA.com, your home for all 89 NCAA championships. So Slaughter just got in the lineup, and he's in the scorebook now with a foul, that is. He's the only guy that has been on the floor for Alabama that has not scored. Malcolm Hill has had a pretty strong game. 12 points for him.
When you think about Rice has started to get his offense going a little bit. Malcolm Hill clearly has been the guy that has been the most efficient offensive player.
He led the Illini in scoring in half of their Big Ten games. Malcolm Hill did, sophomore out of Fairview Heights, Illinois.
Impressed with Alabama, really am. You can go two ways when your coach is relieved and he's not on the sideline for you. You go two ways. You can fight for the person in the locker next to you, or you can just say, fellas, let's shut it down. The rest of the school's on spring break. Why don't we go on spring break too?
Yeah.
I mean, because that's part of it. I mean, there's no students here tonight.
Right.
They're getting ready for A-Day. A-Day, April 18th, by the way. That's your college football fix.
It was kind of different. They started spring football practice last Friday. They only practiced really for one day, and then Nick cut them loose for spring break, and then they regroup later in this week. So I don't know what he did in that one day. I'm sure he just laid the law on them about, here's what we do and don't do.
Yep.
Now go and not do it.
Yes. And a lot of football teams getting started with practice. Florida got underway yesterday. I think Florida State gets underway tomorrow.
Yep.
Football is 24/7.
There's an offensive foul. Nice job by Randolph to hold his ground against LaRon Black, who picks up his fourth foul. So two guys on the Illini, Black and Tate, each with 4.
Randolph got the contact in the first half, a little bit of an elbow. That time stood there and absorbed the contact on his chest.
Levi Randolph playing in his 134th career game tonight for Alabama, which ties the school record of Trevor Relaford. And Trev was at the shoot-around today. I don't know, I assume he's at the game as well, but one of the great backcourt guys Alabama's had in the last decade. They need more guys like him and more guys like Levi. they'd be better off. Now that's going to do it for LaRon Black. Just when I said he had 4. He started the game with no points. He leaves the game with no points, but he did get 5 fouls.
Yeah, he is a freshman that had the double-double versus Purdue. He had 15 and 13 in that game. He was a top 50 recruit, maybe the best out-of-state recruit since Aaron Williams. He's got to grow. He's got to mature.
Mr. Basketball in the state of Tennessee a year ago. And Rodney Cooper missed his last 2 from the free throw line now.
Well, that's the only thing that you can say kind of goes wrong for Alabama tonight. A couple missed free throws.
Yeah.
They missed 7 of them. But everything else has gone their way. Barring something amazing turning around here in the final 10 minutes. There's going to be a lot to celebrate for this team and the fans that are in attendance on St. Patrick's Day here.
And they can go meet the Hurricanes from the ACC.
You and I both wearing green tonight, supporting St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, we are.
So is JD, our great statistician.
Long 3 ball by Revante Rice. So all his scoring's come in the second half. JD looks good in green too. Oh, I'm not kidding.
Oh, we're having fun, partner.
What else can we do?
Celebrate the game.
Yeah. 5 on the shot clock. Levi Randolph backpedaling. Got to get it to Cooper. Hurry. No good. So a couple of shot clock violations this half now.
If they had 5 extra seconds, that would have made the difference. I'm kidding. You know, that's what a lot of people say. You know, five extra seconds. You know, look, there's shot clock violations with 35 seconds. There's shot clock violations now with 30 seconds. Right. It doesn't matter.
There would have been shot clock violations with 45 seconds.
I think, and there used to be too.
Yes.
I think
I remember.
I think when you're watching this game, does anybody at home think that the quality of basketball has changed based on the shot clock? I mean, the quality of basketball might have changed a little bit because Illinois came out flat and got to take it to them early in this game. But I don't think the quality of shot has diminished one bit. And I think that there are players that are on the floor right now playing with a slightly improved sense of urgency.
Yeah, I would say it hasn't. I think just you're talking quality. Alabama came out and is playing quality ball, whether there was a shot clock or not. You know. Speaking of which, reset at 30 for the Illini. Under 9 to play from Tuscaloosa. From the free throw line, Norris might have gotten a piece of that shot by Nunn. Abasahan. There's a rush shot, which wasn't a very good one. Pick and roll with Egwu. You'd like to work for a hook shot. There it is. Didn't drop though, and Norris tipped the rebound to Randolph.
You look at Illinois on the season too, and Tate is a limited offensive player. He really rarely shoots the three-point shot from the guard position. He's at his best when he's attacking, trying to get to the free throw line. In fact, he only has attempted three pointers in the last 7 games. And then you look at Egwu, who's a really strong defensive player. And Coach Gross earlier said he's the best big defender he's coached at the 4 or 5 spots, but not much of an offensive player. So when they're out on the floor together, it really puts a lot on Hill, Nunn, and Rice's shoulders. And that's one of the things that Tate's going to have to develop as his career progresses here. He's going to have to show that he can. You're going to have to at least respect his perimeter jump shot.
Levi Randolph going for his 20th point tonight. Senior out of Madison, Alabama. In grad school, got his marketing degree in 3 years. You mentioned earlier, first academic All-American in basketball at Alabama. He's got his own plaque all by himself here in Tuscaloosa. And he's having one of his best games of the year, as he doesn't want his season to end. 8 minutes remaining. 25-point lead for the Tide. Starks still can't get a 3 to drop. That drive not finished off by Rice.
It's the 3rd chance on this possession for Illinois to try to get some points.
And Starks in traffic, hits the deck, and he'll go to the free throw line. Foul on Abasahan. When we return, 67-42, 7:24 to go.
Continues to shoot well from the outside. Ball movement will get the ball into the corner. 7 of 17 from 3. A&M now up on Montana, 66-51. Now 68-54. Ole Miss struggling big time against BYU. BYU 3-point shooting. Check it out. Over 57%. 10 of 15. They lead by 17 at the half.
Not sure where these SEC teams were in Nashville last week.
I'll tell you what, right now, BYU, their ability to shoot the basketball, they are so difficult to go against because they are in attack mode at all time. They space the floor. And think about this, not a surprise they're up over Ole Miss right now, Brett. When you think about the fact they lead the nation in free throws made, yet they don't have a big. So everything is coming off the attack of Tyler Haws, Kyle Collinsworth, and then that spaces out the floor for perimeter shooters.
The guys I was talking about was A&M and Alabama.
Well, those two are playing well.
Yeah.
Well, and A&M without House was a big difference. And I'd like to see A&M try to make a run here, try to get to the quarterfinals. That'd be a quarterfinal seed. Potentially hosting it in College Station. Stopped by Austin. Austin right now, by the way, has South by Southwest. It's a little crazy this week down in Austin.
Here's Norris. Missed the 3. Alabama trying to slice into the lead with 7 minutes to go. 3-pointer. That's going to help the cause. Malcolm Hill.
That 30-point lead now down to 20.
Levi Randolph, left hand, came up a little bit short with it. cut down from 30 to 20. 10 on the shot clock. Ford.
That looked like a push off.
They got a second chance underneath and missed. Egwu still trying to get the handle. Well, they're getting enough cracks at it right now. And
that's going to be blocked.
Hill was fouled. There's your recruiting rankings.
And this is what Alabama's new head coach, whoever it may be, will have to work against. And you look at the recruiting classes, it's not just Kentucky. It's LSU has the #1 player overall in Ben Simmons. Texas A&M #3 class overall. Florida with another top 10 class. Vandy is the one team to me you've really got to start to watch out for. They have a lot of good young pieces this year. Riley LaChance, Matthew Fisher-Davis, Wade Baldwin. Damian Jones, a sophomore, looks to come back for his junior campaign. You add in a couple of those extra components, and I think you start the year next year thinking that Kevin Stallings' team is going to be an NCAA tournament team.
Yeah, your backcourt's going to be sophomores, the two guys you mentioned, and then one of the top defensive players in the conference whose offense is starting to come on.
And of course, they're in the NIT this year, trying to gain extra postseason experience. They'll take on St. Mary's out in Moraga, California.
Levi Randolph said, how about a little motion? Let's use some of that 30-second clock. Rodney Cooper said, I don't think so, because I see a little crease right here.
Let me show you the SEC rankings. You should also note that Illinois is 15th best class in the country according to our ESPN Top 100 Recruiting Nation. Coach Gross has done a nice job once again bringing in top talent. Now they got to start performing like it. Kessler's got banged up a little bit there.
Randolph forced one up. Rebound comes off to Egwu. And here comes Ahmad Starks. Extra pass, baseline three. Egwu keeps it alive. And now it's Hill for a triple. That was a whistle before the shot.
Yeah, that's an easy call. Egwu was standing in the middle of the key, got the rebound, held the ball for at least a second and a half, then kicked it out, and was still standing there, never left.
So lane violation.
UC Davis Stanford game. It's going to be a fun one to watch from the farm out in Palo Alto. UC Davis, a very good three-point shooting team. Corey Hawkins can really stretch you from the outside. Averages about 21 points per game for Davis. They got upset in their conference tournament. Otherwise, they'd be in the NCAA field.
Under 5 to go. Under 10 on the shot clock. A little more of an issue in the second half than the first. I think that's courtesy of the Illinois defense being a little bit stiffer and a little more hustle.
A little stiffer, and also Alabama being more patient because they have such a large lead.
Yeah.
You know, no need to kind of create extra possessions, and in doing so, the quality of their shot has diminished a little bit. You see, in the first half, that's an attack at the rim, trying to draw a foul, maybe go through and one. Instead, in the second half now, when you're at 21.
Yeah. They could waste every 30-second shot clock from here on out and not score again, and they're going to win the game more than likely. And then Cooper does that with 4 on the shot clock. Celebration starting here. Timeout, Illinois. 3:57 remaining. 72-48 tie. Illinois came in looking for a 20-win season. They're going to head back to Champaign 19-14 here in the next 4 minutes, barring some sort of miracle, while Alabama will win its 19th. And they'll go on to play Miami at 11 o'clock on Saturday.
That should be a great game, especially if Alabama comes with the same kind of focus we saw in this one. I really thought Miami deserved to be in the NCAA tournament field. Instead, they were left on the outside looking in. A couple of bad losses, Eastern Kentucky, Green Bay. They lost to Wake. They lost to Georgia Tech. And that kind of negated the success that they had, beating North Carolina State, winning at Duke. Jim Laranaga's squad is a very strong and good quality basketball team.
Finally, one drop for Ahmad Starks from the outside. 48 three-pointer of the year. His 5 points have come in this half.
Colbert doing a nice job talking on defense. You notice how you're starting to hear Illinois talk on defense? We didn't see that in the first half.
Norris hits the deck, missed the shot. Ahead, tough catch. A little too deep for Austin Colbert. A pass out from Malcolm Hill.
It was a good catch, but you need a jump stop, settle it down under 2, forward pivot, see if you've got a look. If not, kick it back out to one of your guards trailing and then set up your offense.
Obasahan, he's done a nice job getting around the rim like that tonight.
And he's got 15 now.
$20 for Levi Randolph, 15 for Obasahan, 18 for Rodney Cooper. Great balance tonight for Alabama.
And they have executed really well all night long.
From the opening shot by Levi Randolph, a three-pointer, they have really never looked back. And down to 2 minutes to play. Alabama's been nice movement off the window for Michael Kessens. Alabama has the 3rd most appearances in the NIT tournament. This is their 13th go-around. And they're about to win their 24th game against 15 losses. And it's 1 minute and 48 seconds away. It's going to be a happy John Brannon, the interim coach, and his team en route to a win. The guy's been quite a player for Illinois. Agwu, a senior, playing his final game tonight. And his counterpart on the outside, Revante Rice, is going to go out with a good second half, but they're going to leave their senior seasons with a loss in 1 minute and 45 seconds.
So you mentioned Rice and a great start to his career. He had it great before transferring in, and the impact he's had in the last 2 years, being named All Big Ten, honorable mention, both seasons. Agwu, all defensive team this year.
2 on the shot clock. It got to the rim. Well, maybe it didn't.
Either way, Alabama's got the ball. And they're just going to walk it on up. They're going to sub out. I think they're coming to get Randolph in his final game on this floor.
Yeah, he's going to get a standing ovation.
As he should.
Yeah, kind of kid he's been off the court, in the classroom, and on the floor here. Deserves it. So Alabama in their 102nd season of college basketball, about to win their 1600th game overall in school history, and they are right now 60 seconds away from doing so as Coleman knocks down a 3.
As the senior goes off, the freshman steps in.
There you go.
You know, and I think that's going to be a sight that a lot of Alabama fans are going to see over the next 3 years with Justin Coleman. Oh, Norris was leaking out, trying to get the run out.
This guy's going to be a heck of a player. Not that he isn't already. Malcolm Hill, and the fans are going to boo as John Gross takes the timeout with just under 41 seconds to go. So I think we can send Illinois to Miami. Or rather, Alabama to Miami. That number 6 seed will meet the number 2 seed.
If it's spring break, Illinois might be going to Miami.
11 o'clock on Saturday on ESPN.
But it's Alabama that will be going to play Miami.
Right. There
South Beach will be rocking on Saturday.
There you go. You see the other side. Richmond is the top seed in this part of the bracket.
That's one of the things people don't think about. I never had a spring break in 4 years. You know, I talk to people all the time. Sean, did you ever go to spring break anywhere? Never had a spring break. Always playing. There's nothing wrong with it because it means you're playing in the postseason. It means you're in the NCAA tournament.
You should have taken a fall break or a summer break. Some kind of break.
I didn't really do that. Kind of missed out on that portion of college.
At least you're making up for it.
Yeah, just make it up with it sitting next to you.
There you go. 25-point game, 40.7. Illinois is out of timeouts, but they used them all the way to the end of the season, that's for sure. Well, in a strange circumstance, without the head coach that they've had for the last 6 years, Alabama played one of their better games of the year as Rice steals and scores. And I'm sure they did so with Anthony Grant in mind. I would be almost assured of that because all these kids loved him and played hard for interim coach John Brannon tonight and the rest of the Alabama staff. So you got to give them credit. As Sean said earlier, they could have laid down or spit the bit a little bit, even though they're on their home floor, considered a road game on their home floor. And they did anything but. They played hard from the very start. And Illinois just got in too deep a hole to really ever dig themselves out.
Well, why foul there? What, I mean, I don't understand why Kestens is fouling. You're up 79-56. There's 19 seconds left to go on the clock. There's just no need to foul. Move your feet. If you can't get there, there's no need to reach around and send them to the free throw line. Although Hill will appreciate it if he makes a couple here.
Yeah.
That gives him 22.
He's led them in scoring now. This will be 8 of the last 14 games they played.
21, actually. Excuse me. I wasn't a math major in college. There's 22.
So you should have gone to math class during spring break. Norris ahead to Coleman.
Just pull it out.
Please pull it out, boys. There you go.
It's over.
John Brannon just went, guys, pull it out.
He's 1-0 as a head coach, by the way.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good.
Impressive effort by Levi Randolph. He was the tone setter of this game, and it's a big reason why Alabama cruised to a 21-point win.
Alabama goes to 19-14, and Illinois' season ends with the exact same record. Alabama going to play Miami 11 o'clock Saturday on ESPN. Coming up next, Sports Center. Right now, for Sean Farman, our entire ESPN crew, Brad Ness.